Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is an anatomy of an injustice. And we're fortunate this morning to have with us to talk about this anatomy of an injustice, Mr. O. Bobby Brown, who is a private investigator and a paralegal in Nashville, Tennessee. And of course, Mr. Brown, let me welcome you to the show this morning.
Thank you, Dr. Haynes.
And to tell you, Mr. Brown, how delighted we are to have you here with us and to talk about what we consider to be a very, very important topic, and that is your profession in a real sense and some of the problems that you face in terms of trying to do the things that you have to do. Before we get into that, Mr. Brown, let's have you to give us some information about your background, your education, and some of the things that were important in eventually leading you to become a private investigator and a paralegal, and then we'll talk about other things.
Okay, well, I'm not going to tell you how old I am, so we'll leave it at that. Second, educated at Tennessee State University after doing 20 years within the military. And as you can see, my combat unit and I am an ex-airborne ranger. I work for Brown's Investigation and Paralegal Services. It is a agency that assists attorneys in representing clients that have difficult cases, murders, robberies, dope, and that's part of what we do. We also, as well as being private investigators, we're also paralegals. Now, a paralegal is a person that turns around and understands what the attorney wants and assists the attorney in preparing or getting certain documents together to help him to do his case. As a private investigator, we are the ones that go out to the area. We do the measurements, we take the pictures, we do all the interviews, and various other little things that's necessary for us to turn around and do what we do. Our agency has been involved in some of the best criminal cases that has been handled in Davidson County since we've been in business. The attorneys that we do a lot of work for are basically the well-known attorneys that deal with the hard issues of black dope, murder, and some of the rest of that. And with our assistance, we help them to turn around to do a image presentation, because that's what we also do as being paralegals.
Go on. You said image. What does that mean? Does that mean that you can present them with information that increases or builds up their image, or what is?
Well, what we do, in other words, we don't want anybody getting into the box where the witness, in the witness box, and talking out of their heads. There's too much of that going on. We want to have an image of the crime scene. And the reason why I said we deal in images, because that's what we do, and we're talking about color. If you notice, when you have a picture in front of you, you can turn around and see you trying to remember. You will know exactly what it is. It helps you to do distance, and it also brings back clarity, and it helps us to turn around and put our case across the word that the jury can understand it. Because when you set up and you got people, especially with distance, we have a problem with distance and we don't know directions. So what I'm saying is that we can have a situation where somebody was shot, and we got 5 people there. Just watch this thing. Now, if all 5 of those people tell me the same story, they done got together. Now, if they tell me different stories about the same incident, now we're going to have difference in measurements as far as where they were, who they were, and who saw them at that scene. So that's part of our job. So we will want to always keep a crime scene up in front of a jury so that they can watch and listen, as well as understand what that person in the box is saying, as well as look at the crime scene and say either they did know what they was talking about or they don't know what they're talking about. Being that we're paralegals, and a lot of times at some of the cases that we work with, the lawyer that we work with, he's a single practitioner. In other words, what I mean by a single practitioner, he's doing everything. So we assist in writing questions to make sure that he does that, that he gets the right question on the thing, you know, in our presentation. Also, we show pictures. We do anything that's necessary to help that attorney stay on track to do with what the issues and what are we trying to receive. And by us being paralegals, we know basically some of what makes the elements of the case, so that way we can keep him on track, as well as making sure that if there's a appellate issue that always has to be addressed when putting on a case.
And so you play a very, very crucial role in terms of the case that will eventually be presented to the jury. Is that not by working with the attorney and
hopefully
laying that?
Hopefully so. If we do our jobs like it should be a well-scripted movie. So when we come in with the computers and the projector, and we start talking about, and people hit the witness box, we should have a set of questions to ask that specific witness, and we should have the images that's necessary for us to convey anything that we're trying to convey.
Okay, very good. And of course, Mr. Brown, let's get ready for this first commercial break, after which we will come by and we will look at what might be considered a case study in terms of what you're doing in dealing with the intent of
Anatomy of
the anatomy of an injustice.
Thank you.
And of course, we'll be back with our audience following this very, very short commercial break. The